Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you into coverage of NCAA Division II men's basketball streaming exclusively on Flow College. In our final home broadcast of 2025, the College of Staten Island takes on Franklin Pierce University in non-conference play. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nicholas Pavona, alongside my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman, and this is the McDonald's pregame show. McDonald's, of course, one of our proud sponsors here at CSI, and they bring you coverage of every pregame ahead of every CSI Dolphins home game. And, Joe, this broadcast is certainly going to be a unique one for us, as I am here at the tank solo on the commentary desk here on Staten Island. For those that don't know where you are, can you explain where you are tonight?
Well, Nick, for just the fifth time in the history of CSI Sportsnet, we go remote for a live broadcast as I join you on today's call from Orlando, Florida. I'm spending the new year with family and taking in the NHL Winter Classic on January 2nd, but you know I wouldn't miss a CSI home game, especially as the team enters this matchup with the Ravens unbeaten at the tank.
Yeah, the Dolphins right now have been red hot, Joe, and you mentioned it, the home win streak for the Dolphins entering the night is at 7 games. They're also on a 4-game win streak in general, and you and I have been on the call for all of those CSI victories. This team has done plenty well here at the tank to open the season, but most of that is also carried over into their road outings as well. What makes this CSI team so dangerous, and how have they been able to remain so consistent throughout the first 2 months of the season?
First and foremost, I think that effort breeds consistency, and at no point this season has this team looked to be lacking effort and tenacity. And that's despite a stretch to open the season, which saw them play 5 games in 9 days, including 2 back-to-backs, one of which was played here in Florida. I've covered this team 7 times here at home and 3 times on the road as well, and regardless of the circumstances and the talent facing them on the other side, the effort and energy from this team has remained a constant. However, this team is more than just the intangibles. You look at the way they've shot the ball this year at a remarkable 47% from the field and over 36% from beyond the arc. Defensively, they've held opponents under 32% from deep, and on the glass, they're a +4 rebounds per game. Not to be overlooked as well is an 80% mark from the free throw line, which combined with the extremely efficient numbers from the field, has this CSI team averaging nearly 90 points per game.
And they've had a couple of games as well, Joe, where they've had 100 points a couple of times this season. So the numbers are off the charts. And you mentioned those team numbers. They have been very impressive for the Dolphins this season, no question. But when you dive a bit deeper and look at what these players have done individually, you see exactly why this team has finding themselves playing some of the best basketball that you and I have seen in the Division II era.
We've spoken about it many times already this season, but every player who has been asked to step up this season for this Dolphins team has done just that. And rather than simply rattle off more statistics, I want to highlight something that I know that this CSI coaching staff takes great pride in, and that's year-over-year improvement. At the top of the list is Aaron Goldstein, who has raised his scoring average nearly 9 points per game and increased his overall shooting by over 10% from last year. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention that he is the leading scorer in the ECC, an early contender for Conference Player of the Year, and the reigning Met Basketball Writers Association Player of the Week. Other returning Dolphins, including Joey Poulin, Asa Kone, and Mitchell Wiggin, have all increased their scoring averages this year. And in terms of points per 30 minutes, the collegiate equivalent of the NBA points per 36 minutes metric, Wiggin is right up there with some of the top scorers in the conference. In less than 20 minutes per game, the sophomore is averaging over 11 points per game.
And, Joe, you and I have spoken about some of the returners from this team that have been doing tremendous marks. You mentioned those numbers right there, especially for Wiggin. And even the newcomers as well, Andrew Benedict and Brandon Torres, have really shown some flashes this season. But speaking of scoring, this Franklin Pierce team that is coming into the tank tonight with a pair of prolific scorers that are going to present a challenge for that Dolphins defense you mentioned earlier on. Anthony Parker and Raymond Baca are both among the top scorers in the NE10. They are both averaging just at least 15 points per game entering tonight's matchup with the Dolphins. So despite that offensive prowess, though, the Ravens are coming in at a record of 4-6, 0-3 in conference play. So tonight is their second straight game also against the ECC in terms of following a win over Mercy 9 days ago. But, Joe, this team is also having the front half of a back-to-back as tomorrow they'll be on the road in Delaware to take on Goldie Beacom.
A back-to-back on the eve of New Year's Eve, and then again on New Year's Eve is tough, no question about it, especially when you're opening that two-game stretch against the CSI team that has not lost a game at home. That being said, the Ravens may have the right scoring duo to solve this CSI defense in Parker and Baca. Parker shoots over 40% from the field and nearly 35% from downtown, while Baca presents a major challenge inside as he comes in shooting 52% from the floor. Parker is also a player who can get to the line, and he's shooting over 82% from the stripe. Finally, Baca's 9 rebounds per game are a big reason why the Ravens have been a slight net positive on the glass this year, and if they can limit CSI's ability to generate second chances at the offensive end, that goes a long way towards keeping this Dolphins team from building the double-digit lead that we've seen them secure in so many of the games that we've covered here at home.
And speaking of some of the challenges we've seen here for opponent sides, there's a little bit of a challenge for us right now here, Joe. I don't know if you've noticed, but the lights on the other side of the court have gone out. And right now, the scoreboards are both off. So they are attending to that issue right now as we get closer to tip-off. So what Joe and I will do and what the rest of our crew here at CSI will do is we'll take a quick break as we get closer into the introduction of starting lineups. We will step aside and take that break. And when we come back, Joe and I are going to take a look back at the highlights from the Dolphins' most recent outing here at the Tank against Holy Family University. More to come for the McDonald's pregame show after this break.
Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country.
What's up, big man? You good?
It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey, becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team.
We are
Penn State.
LA.
From signing day to game day.
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact. All in, all together.
Nicholas Pavona and Joe Foreman back with you from the College of Staten Island as we welcome you back into the McDonald's pregame show. And Joe, good sight to see. The lights have come back on here at the Tank, so the scoreboards are back up. About 5:40 and change to go before tip-off here between the Ravens and the Dolphins. And it was now just 10 days ago that we last covered this Dolphins team here at the Tank in a matchup against the Tigers of Holy Family University. Once again, it was a very impressive start for the Dolphins, but Holy Family would not go away. They would keep this game close in the late stages of CSI's 7th straight home victory to begin the season. We begin, first off, Joe, with the Dolphins with a nice early double-digit lead, and it starts with this Eric Tynes 3.
Tynes opens with a 3, and then Chestnut to Kone for the lane. Goldstein from downtown as well.
Goldstein with a plethora of threes. He knocks down another one right there. Dolphins leading defense into offense. Wiggin finds Poulin underneath the lay-in.
Great find there on the break. The Dolphins get to work in the half court here. Wiggin to the corner for Poulin. He knocks down the 3.
And not to be outdone, you'll see Benedict right here. Great outlook pass. Finds Chestnut for the 3.
Chestnut rattles in that one. On the offensive glass, it is Wiggin this time. Put back the Dolphins so good on the offensive boards.
And how about Wiggin right here? Spin move. Finds Chestnut wide open for another 3.
The Dolphins with a barrage from downtown in the first half. This time it's Wiggin from the mid-range. No good. Rebound by Tynes, and his fall-away jumper goes down.
Such a tough shot right there by Tynes to knock it down. How about this alley-oop play? Goldstein, Chestnut to Kone.
And that won't be the last alley-oop we see in this highlight package, as this time it's Wiggin out to Poulin. It's another JP3.
And how about threes? One of many for Aaron Goldstein. He knocks down that one.
Goldstein out to Poulin this time. It's from the left wing at the other end of the floor for three.
How about another three right here from Goldstein? Drills another one to increase the Dolphin lead.
And how about some low post offense? This time it's Tynes on the step through.
How about this deep three by Goldstein? He's had a great game.
This team just keeps one-upping themselves. It's another three from the corner by Joey Poulin right there.
And I might as well call another AG3, Joe, as knocks it down. It's good as gold.
Well, Goldstein hit a deep one before. He goes deeper right there, way downtown.
It's something the Dolphins have done so tremendously all season. Defense leading to offense. They get the steal. Wiggin gets the lay-in.
Dolphins so good in transition. Wiggin so good from the mid-range, and he just keeps pouring it on.
How about Brandon Torres with that turnaround jumper? Great play, but this next play, Joe, had us speechless. The volleyball tipped alley-oop.
3 words on that one when we called it. Oh, my goodness.
And then you'll see right here, Andrew Bandick, just before the buzzer hits, dagger 3. Dolphins holding on in that matchup against the Tigers. A big win, as we mentioned, for the Dolphins in that game, Joe, as they get their 4th straight victory. And overall, 7-0 now on the season in terms of playing here at the Tank. Other than what we've spoken about before earlier on in this broadcast, what has really impressed you the most about what this Dolphins team has been doing over the course of time?
Well, we mentioned the shooting already, so I'll put that aside. I think something that we didn't talk about earlier in the broadcast that has really stood out to me is the pace at which this team can play with. When they get running up and down the floor, when they get stops, when they attack the glass and get out in transition, this team is really, really tough to stop. And I think that's something that has really impressed me. The Achilles heel has been turnovers, and some of those have come on those transition opportunities. But if the Dolphins can take care of the basketball and maintain the same kind of pace that we've seen from them in the 7 home games that we've covered, they certainly have a great chance to make it 8-0 here at the Tank tonight. And you have to think that feeding off the home crowd, being in your own building, it lends itself just a bit toward playing at a bit of a higher pace, and they've really been able to capitalize on that style of game so far. Not to be lost in all of that. In order to get out and running, you have to get stops and you have to close out possessions on the defensive glass. They've done that all season long, and if they can continue to do it, they're going to be right there with some of the premier teams in the ECC and throughout the region.
Yeah, now the Dolphins, with the first of their final 2 games of non-conference play, they have this matchup tonight and then a matchup with Post University. So the Dolphins are winding down their non-conference play before they go back into conference play. And speaking of winding down, Joe, just a minute to go before the introduction of starting lineups. So what you and I will do is we'll take one more final break before the starting lineups are announced. And when we come back, I will provide you those starting lineups for this matchup between the Ravens and the Dolphins right here on Flow College.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Sports fans, we cheer on our favorite teams at fields, gyms, arenas, and stadiums. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee? Verbal abuse from fans, parents, and coaches is the #1 reason why many referees are walking away. And they're not being replaced quickly enough by new ones. So put yourself in the official shoes, act with respect, and be officially human.
Nicholas Pavona and Joe Foreman rejoining you tonight for tonight's matchup between the Ravens and the Dolphins. And before we went to our last commercial break, I mentioned I do have the starting lineups for tonight's matchup. For the Ravens, they're starting 0, Raymond Baca, number 2, Anthony Parker, number 10, Dylan Goodman, number 22, Victor Kachalewski, and number 23, Gergo Kadic. For the Dolphins, they will be with number 3, J.J. Chestnut, number 10, Asa Kone, number 21, Aaron Goldstein, number 32, Eric Tynes, and number 35, Mitchell Wiggins. So, Joe, the Dolphins go into a bit of a different lineup tonight. Joey Poulin not in the starting lineup. They go back to Wiggin, who we've seen a couple times this season get some starting minutes.
Well, I mentioned that Wiggins done a lot of great things this season. His scoring numbers have been thoroughly impressive, but going back to the point that I made before about how well this team has pushed the pace, Wiggin has been a huge part of that. He is a player who can get out in transition and finish strong at the rim. He's a player that contributes defensively in the passing lanes as well, so he can jumpstart a lot of those transition opportunities as well. And not to mention in the half court, he is a player who can score from absolutely anywhere on the floor. He's good around the rim. He's still able to find the open man when defenses collapse around him. He can hit from the mid-range. He can hit from beyond the arc, something that's so true of so many players on the CSI Dolphins team. A very versatile offensive bunch, players that can score at all 3 levels.
And, Joe, I made sure when we did those starting lineup introductions to not say the number with Raymond Baca's number, which is 0. So wanted to see maybe if you maybe heard that when I was doing that. I did that especially for you. But I think it's also not something I need to ask you. So with me on the call for this game, I don't think I need to access, but I'm going to anywhere just to play it safe. Do I have permission on any three-pointer to say splash?
Of course. You're the CSI Dolphins play-by-play commentator for the day. Of course you have permission.
I didn't think I need the permission, but you never know. I don't want to be accused of stealing someone's lineage or work that they've done before.
You've been here long enough. Fair Whoever's
enough.
on play-by-play gets to use whatever call they want.
Yeah. Okay. Just listen. Just wanted to make sure.
Do it justice. Don't mess up.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, and then you maybe trademark it afterwards. So I didn't want to be having one of those letters at the end of the game.
It's not a dribble. It's not a drop. It is a splash.
Okay, that's fair enough. No bang either. I won't go Mike Breen on this one either.
If that's what you're feeling in the moment,
it could be.
Maybe you could, but I think we're the Dolphins. I really like splash.
Splash is just too good for us to not use in these type of games. But Dolphins will look to make a big splash, using that pun right there, Joe, as they try to get another victory here at the Tank, try to go to 8-0 here at the Tank this season and win their 5th straight game with the victory here tonight. And we are just moments away from tip-off.
Now, would it be funny if I said that I was holding my fist out, standing here?
A solidarity fist.
A solidarity fist held out in front of me.
It'll be Kone and Baca on the tip. And it was won by the Ravens, and we are underway here between the Ravens and the Dolphins. This is Parker now with the ball. It's the hard screen, gets past Chestnut. He takes the three, and it's an air ball.
Not the start you're looking for if you're the Ravens, but Chestnut ended up down on the floor. A lot of space for that shot. Way off the mark to get things started.
Yeah, Chestnut maybe trying to draw an offensive foul with that play right there as he passes it to Wiggin. Wiggin gets tangled up, and he turns it over. Fast break opportunity right here for the Ravens. Going up with the lay-in. Might have been blocked by Chestnut. It will remain with the Ravens as going up with that one was Kachalewski, but good defensive awareness right there by Chestnut.
And that's not the first time we've seen that. Chestnut can get back defensively, and he can block shots if he's put in that position one-on-one.
A little bit of a tie-up underneath. Ravens maintain the ball. Three-point shot from Kachalewski's off the mark. Offensive rebound by Baca, and he gets the putback.
And I highlighted that in the pregame, Nick. Baca's rebounds could help the Ravens win the battle on the boards. That will be key.
Baca's, as you mentioned, also one of their high scores of the season. As Goldstein falls, there's another Dolphin turnover. Baca will go all the way, and he will throw it down with a ferocious slam.
That's one way to energize your team to start the game, an offensive board and then a one-handed slam off the CSI turnover.
Dolphins get a big bucket right there as Chestnut puts the Dolphins on the board for the first time.
Tough shot with the left hand in traffic. JJ just so good at those difficult runners and floaters.
This is Kachalewski. Thought about taking the jumper. Passes it out to Goodman. Goodman on the drive on the baseline with Tynes on him. Passes it out to Baca. Ravens now will look to reset. High arcing pass. Look out me as Chestnut gets the turnover. He'll go all the way for the lay-in.
It looked like you thought you were about to get a touch, Nick. Instead, it's 2 points for JJ Chestnut, and the Dolphins are all even.
A little bit scary for my comfort here at the commentary desk by myself, but
all by your lonesome.
Chestnut made a nice defensive play. He's got the first Dolphins for 4 points. Missed right there by Parker, rebounded by Goldstein. This is Tynes for three. Splash.
And there is your first splash, Nick. We have an ET3 to get the Dolphins scoring from beyond the arc started.
And we talked about it so many times this year, Joe, how quickly the Dolphins go up the court. Goldstein got the rebound, immediately found Tynes, and Tynes did not hesitate on that three-point shot. Parker to Baca. Baca with Kone on him, now passes it out. Goodman thought about the three. Has Wiggin all over him, loses the ball, and Goldstein forces the turnover. Goldstein on the drive, takes the contact, loses the ball, and it will remain with the Dolphins.
Well, the Dolphins, after a couple of early turnovers, have returned the favor here. They've forced a couple of Ravens turnovers now, each team with a pair, and it will stay CSI basketball.
Get a second look at that last three-pointer from Tynes.
Another transition basket, Nick. This team continues to play at a high pace.
And we've seen the Dolphins do some tremendous work also on the inbounds pass. We saw it in our highlight package as inbound goes to Wiggin. Now he gives it to Kone. Now it's Chestnut with the ball. Chestnut takes the screen, takes the pull-up jumper, misses. Tynes gets the rebound, and Tynes gets the putback as he gets the jump shot.
Where have we seen that before, Nick?
Tynes with the, look what I found on that play.
That one not quite like the other one where he grabbed the offensive rebound and hit a post fade, but still 2 second chance points nonetheless.
Kachalewski takes the screen, goes up with the shot, and a tough arcing shot, but he knocks it through.
Sometimes that's what it takes. Good defense, you need better offense, and that time Kachalewski had it.
Goldstein with Baca now on him. This is Tynes. Try to find Kone underneath, but the Dolphins turn it over.
Well, I said it during the pregame, Nick. Turnovers have been their Achilles heel. When they protect the basketball, they're a completely different team and so tough to beat, not just here at the Tank, but in any game.
It's certainly been a problem for season. As you mentioned, if there's been one problem for this team, it's been the turnover mark on the season. Duff to Kadich. Kadic with the ball. Now it's back to Duff. Duff takes a tough shot. It's rebounded by Tynes. That was heavily defended right there by Chestnut. He now has the ball, passes it back to Wiggin. Wiggin goes up and under and gets the lay-in. What a tough play by Wiggin.
Well, Wiggin has really emerged offensively, showing that he's earned that spot in the starting lineup tonight. And Wiggin stepping through traffic, able to finish the tough shot inside.
Another quick transition points right there for CSI as Baca takes another tough shot, and he knocks that one through.
Baca off to a nice start, and if you're the Dolphins, that's a cause for concern early.
Goldstein thought about the three off the screen, passes it to Tynes. Tynes thought about the jumper as well. He gives it to Chestnut. Chestnut to Kone. Kone loses the ball, goes right back to Chestnut. Chestnut on the drive, passes it back to Kone, and Kone again loses the ball. It's a turnover forced to Duff. And Duff then draws the foul on Chestnut.
Well, Nick, we've mentioned the turnovers more than once already early in this game. And if you look at the turnover margin for the Dolphins as well, they're nearly a -4 in the turnover department on a per-game basis this year. And it's really remarkable how they've played to a 9-4 record despite consistently finding themselves on the short end of the turnover battle.
And I think it's a testament to what they've done this season in terms of shooting, that the numbers that you mentioned earlier on in the pregame show, the numbers have been off the charts, and I think that has been something that has really overlooked what has happened in terms of the turnover numbers. But not to also be undone, their defense has done a tremendous job as well as forcing those turnovers on the other side of things. As we are in our first media timeout of this game, the score is 11-8 CSI. And Joe, as you mentioned, you're doing this game remotely from Florida. You, of course, are going to be taking in the Winter Classic in just a few short days. But you've also had some other trips as well happening down in Florida. I believe you and our broadcast colleague Lou Matrone had a very nice evening last night at, I can't remember their arena name. Is the
Kia Center.
Okay, I got it. How was that last
for Monday Night Raw? It was a good time. You know, I like to consider myself somewhat of a booker. So when it doesn't go the way that I would have liked, I have a lot to say. We'll save that for off air.
Yes.
But it was a good time. And speaking of the Winter Classic here in Florida, it feels like winter down here today. The feel like is 48 degrees.
Wow.
I wanted to do this game outside. That was not an option.
Definitely not an option. And it feels even colder here in Staten Island, I can tell you that.
I heard it was something like 17 degrees.
Yeah, the wind almost overtook me, and I almost collapsed. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
That windy, huh?
Very, very windy. But we resume action here after the media timeout. This is Duff now with the ball at the Dolphin logo. Duff looking for somewhere to go. He passes it. This is Kochalewski. He finds Baca open for three. He goes up and under, passes it back out to Duff. Duff takes the pull-up jumper and knocks it through.
Well, the Ravens are off to a nice start offensively. They've been able to find some openings and hit some tough shots. They're within one.
And this Ravens team's coming into the night, Joe, just averaging just a little bit over 74 points a game. And you mentioned the Dolphins in terms of what they've been doing, points per game. Tough, definitely a tough challenge for Franklin Pierce, but a nice offensive start for them. Chestnut with a tough floater, taking the contact. He knocks it through.
Well, we've seen J.J. Chestnut hit a couple of tough buckets to open this game. But to your point very quickly, Nick, that points total per game for the Ravens really tells me they'll be hoping to slow this Dolphins offense down and reduce the pace of this game.
That shot was well short on that one. That was Lavodrama. Might have been tipped on a potential block as Goldstein with a left-handed layup gets it through.
Dolphins convert in transition again. A quick screen there by Kone, and Goldstein explodes to the rim.
Baca out to Duff. Duff on the drive. Goes up and under, and he cannot get it. And how about that rebound by Benedict? This is now Goldstein. Passes it underneath to Kone. Kone on the great post move. He gets the bucket right there. Puts the Dolphins now up 7.
And look how quickly the Dolphins got into their half-court set. They get up the floor, feed it to Kone. He's one-on-one. Nobody there who could help if they wanted to, and he converts for the easy 2.
And that's, of course, the matchup to watch tonight, Baca versus Kone. And Kone wins that battle on that post move right there. This is Kochalewski. He has Bandit on him, out to Baca. 5 on the shot clock. Got to put up something. It passes underneath, and it's a turnover forced. Parker trying to look for a pass. Goldstein to Benedict. Cannot get it. Kone tried to finish it on the dunk, but he could not get it. And now the Ravens potentially have numbers. Down underneath to Baca, and he did not keep it. It goes out of bounds. It's a turnover force, and it's going back to CSI.
Well, that's one that Benedict would like to have back, and then one that Baca and the Ravens would like to have back. But we got to look at that post move by Asa Kone just a couple of possessions ago, and I think with Baca's quick start offensively, 3 of 3, one of the best ways you can slow him down is make him work at the defensive end of the floor, and Kone did just that with the quick move underneath, as we saw on replay.
Guess get a look at that as the Ravens did call a timeout. Initially, I think the players thought it was a media timeout, but it was a timeout called by Franklin Pierce just a minute before the next media timeout. So it's a 17-10 CSI lead, just 13-13 to go in this first half. And Joe, as you mentioned, it's been a nice start to the season for the Dolphins, and a lot of what we've been seeing from this Dolphins team has been getting out to those hot starts. Franklin Pierce, as you mentioned, is trying to slow the pace in a sense to try to make sure that the Dolphins don't get out to that hot start. And for the most part, they've been doing a good job, but a couple of turnovers along the way for them have put them in an early 7-point deficit.
Well, I said it during the pregame, Nick. The Dolphins have so often found themselves leading by double digits early in games, whether it's the first 8 minutes, the first 10 minutes, the first 12 minutes. Time and time again, this team has built first half double-digit leads, and a big part of that has been the defense. As you mentioned, they have forced 4 turnovers, but once again, Nick, they are shooting a remarkable 73%, 8 of 11 to open the game, and they've done that with just 1 3-pointer, something that we haven't seen as much. Typically, the 3-pointers have been such a huge part of their offense, so I think you really have to like all that you've seen from the Dolphins so far in this game, minus the 4 turnovers.
And especially after what happened in their last game against Holy Family. We saw Goldstein make 8 threes in that game, a couple other 3-pointers. As speaking of turnovers, another one forced by the Ravens. This is Lavo Drama. He goes up with it. A really tough shot, but it's put back on that one by Ferreras.
Well, that's a really bad turnover by the Dolphins. A bit of nonchalance on that possession, and then you know Coach T.J. Tibbs hates to see the offensive rebound conceded as well.
Chestnut with the behind the back. Now goes up into the post move, looking for somewhere to go. Gives it to Goldstein. Goldstein on the drive, went for the alley-oop, and it went in. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Well, that's 2 points for Aaron Goldstein on the stat sheet, and a very unfortunate set of circumstances there for the Ravens.
As Parker knocks in that jump shot on the other end, but I'm still trying to decipher what just happened on that play. Goldstein, long-range splash.
Well, that's a first. I've never called one a long-range splash. I like it, but you always have to be ready with AG behind the arc, and that time from way downtown, he hits another.
Yeah, I was trying to get a look at that play before as another turnover forced by the Dolphins. They try to go quick. Goldstein thought about getting into Kone. Now they'll have to reset. Chestnut directing traffic. Goes towards the basket and gets the lay-in. Nice job by Chestnut right there.
Well, Chestnut already with 8 points on 4 of 5 shooting. He's been aggressive attacking the basket early.
And we've seen that the last couple of games, too, in the first half from Chestnut. Even the last game, Chestnut had a couple of big early baskets and was really aggressive in that one. But towards the second half, got in terms where he was passing a lot more. Kochalewski's 3 off the mark, rebounded by Benedict. This is Goldstein now with the ball. He'll take another long-range 3 off the mark, and it is rebounded right there by Lavo Drama. This is Kochalewski. He finds Ferreras. Ferreras thought about the 3. Now he'll go underneath. He passes it, and a great find as he finds underneath Lavo Drama.
Good ball movement there by the Ravens and an easy 2. But already trailing by double digits. Those are the kind of baskets you're going to need to stay close in this game.
Chestnut on the drive, rejected right there by Ferreras, and if the Ravens go quickly, they'll have numbers. This is Parker now with the ball. They still have a 5-on-4 advantage, and they will take advantage right there as Ferreras gets the pass underneath from Perez. It's now a 6-point game.
Chestnut landed a bit awkwardly there. Thought maybe he rolled his ankle on the foot of a defender on the way down, and taking full advantage there was Franklin Pierce.
And from where I'm sitting, Joe, you can see it. He's a little bit of discomfort right now after that fall. And speaking of falls, Kone is fouled on the play. He'll go to the free throw line after this next media timeout.
Well, Kone, a player who not only has increased his scoring, but he's really increased the frequency with which he gets to the free throw line. And on the other side of this media timeout, he'll have free throws coming up.
How about this 3 right there by Goldstein? But, Joe, I have to go back. the previous play before that alley-oop attempt by Goldstein to try to find Kone, and you said it. Goldstein's going to be awarded the 2 points, but that was not his initial intention when this play went down. You'll see it right here. Gets the screen, went for the alley-oop, and it was just tipped in off of his pass.
Yeah, I would not want to be Emmanuel Ferreras in film review. Nothing he could have done. Of course, he's doing the right thing, but if this game ends up being decided by just a couple points, that's one you look back on and just shake your head. Sometimes all you can do is smile. If it's the difference between a win or a loss, then maybe you don't smile quite as wide.
It certainly won't be a happy new year if that is the deciding outcome, if that is indeed the case of that bucket right there. But as I mentioned before, a next media timeout, 10-12 to go in this first half between the Dolphins and the Ravens. 24-18, the score for CSI in this matchup between them and Franklin Pierce. And Joe, we didn't speak about it also during the pregame. This is the first matchup between these two teams back since January 6th of 2024. The Dolphins in that game got a nice victory over the Ravens, 93-86. 4 different players in double figures in that game. But, of course, the most impressive mark and what we've been seeing all season from this Dolphins team, they out-rebounded the Ravens 37-26 in that game.
Yeah, I think so much of what the Dolphins do well is predicated on how well they rebound. And I asked Coach Tibbs about it last time I spoke to him during our TLC physical therapy halftime report against Holy Family. And he agreed that that's very important to what this team is able to do. And, Nick, you can't get out and run, and you can't push the pace without attacking the glass on defense.
Asa Kone now at the free throw line, shooting 2. Knocks in the first one. Gode's had a nice season as well in terms of free throw shooting, Mark. And I think that's another number that has been really impressive over this course of time since last season, too.
Well, you take a look at Kone's free throw numbers. He's shooting 73% from the line. And I mentioned it during the pregame, Nick. This team comes in shooting 80% from the stripe.
He knocks down both free throws right there. Dolphins back up 8 in this game. As Parker will be the one to bring up the ball right here for the Ravens. You mentioned in our pregame one of the top scorers of this Franklin Pierce team. He gives it out to Kadich. Looking for someone to go now, gives it back up to Parker. 9 to go on the shot clock. Ravens got to go somewhere here on this possession. Pass to the outside. This is Perez to the inside. They got to put up a shot with 2 on the shot clock, and it's a shot clock violation forced by the Dolphins.
Well, the Dolphins aren't only tenacious on the glass. They're tenacious defensively as well. You saw Woods there extending well beyond the arc, applying the pressure. Wiggin defending well beyond the arc, and all of that combines to force the shot clock violation.
And you mentioned Layden Woods coming into this game, and he's been someone as of late that we've seen get a lot more minutes for the Dolphins, and he's really improved in the minutes that he's been getting as well. Wiggin on the drive, left-handed layup misses. It's Benedict that comes down with the rebound. He passes it out to Woods for 3, off the mark, and it's rebounded by Ferreras. This is Parker now bringing the ball up. Now has Benedict on him. Might have slipped on that play, still has the ball, and Parker goes up with a tough play-in right there.
Well, Parker had been held to just 2 points on 1 of 3 before that bucket, but he goes right into the teeth of the Dolphins defense and puts that one up and in.
Almost had a turnover on the play. Wiggin for 3. Off the mark. Woods comes down with the rebound. A nice rebound right there by Woods. He goes on the drive, passes it out to Wiggin. Wiggin now on the drive, and he'll go to the free throw line.
And if your head coach, TJ Tibbs, Leighton Woods just checked in, you love to see what you've gotten out of him so far. Extending beyond the arc defensively, helping to force that shot clock violation, earning the Dolphins another possession with that rebound, and now a trip to the line for Mitchell Wiggin. But these CSI guards, all of them, specifically as we've seen already, Benedict and Woods during their time in the game, and even Tynes, who's a bit bigger, they're always seemingly in the right place at the right time on the offensive glass. You got a great look at it there from the alternate camera angle.
Yeah, impressive rebound considering the fact that there were 2 defenders in front of Woods, and he somehow was the one that came down with it. We've seen that a bunch of times this year with Andrew Benedict in cases of points as the lights have gone out again, Joe.
I see that, and, I would suspect, as you mentioned, with the wind being so strong outside, that it could be the reason why. Now, the big question mark becomes if, hypothetically, they had to continue the game minus the scoreboard, would you have scoreboard?
No, because so what happened was they had to reconnect it. So I had to reconnect it on my end as well.
Okay, so they have no power at the table.
Yeah, everything went out. The table went out. Everything went out. The lights just came back on now, as you can see.
So only the power on the far side has gone out.
Where I am good in power-wise.
And I should know that because without power, there is no way I could still hear you.
That's true. Second free throw for Wigan. Rattles in. The Dolphins now have a 7-point lead. Now, I will have to update it once again, so give me 1 second, folks, while I do that.
Jack of all trades.
Try to make sure that we have it, once again, connected. Chance right here once again. This is Goodman. Gives it up to Baca. Baca goes up with it on the one-handed shot, and he gets it to go.
Baca with another tough basket, a pull-up floater over Wigan. Benedict was closing in to help as well, and Baca now with 8 points. He's 4-4 from the field.
All right, now the scoreboard has been updated to knock down another 3. It's a big shot right there. Puts the Dolphins now up 8. So now we should be good to go again, Joe. Hopefully no more power outages as this game goes on.
Certainly hope not. Your power is more important, though.
That's true, but we do need scoreboard because then I would have to do a lot more on this broadcast.
Yeah, that would be a really big ask.
As Cottage knocks down the 3 right there. Back to a 5-point game as both teams trading 3-pointers.
Well, the Ravens have battled back nicely after falling behind by double digits, and we've seen it throughout the season. If opponents of CSI can weather the initial storm.
Tynes with another 3. Rattles that one in, but go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, when teams have been able to weather the initial storm, they've been able to stay in games and ultimately make a push to come back in the second half.
Teams trading 3s on the last couple of 3 possessions. This is Baca underneath. He has Tynes all over him. One-handed miss right there, rebounded by Wigan. Wigan will now look to push it up the court, gives it up to Tynes. He thought about the 3 initially, now he'll drive. Looking for somewhere to go, gives it up to Goldstein. Goldstein back out to Tynes. Tynes for 3. Splash.
Third ET3 of this game. Tynes 3 for 3 from downtown. He has 11 points.
That's a number that I know you are very, very fond of right there. As a nice give and go from Tynes to Goldstein. Tynes finishes the 3. As that 3-pointer's off the mark. Offensive rebound underneath by Kadich, and now it's another opportunity as Goodman now has it. This is going to be Parker now with it. Second chance opportunity, under 10 on the shot clock. Parker on the drive, loses the ball, still loose. 2 seconds, Parker puts it up, off the rim and rebounded by Wigan. Still loose, and a foul is called on Layden Woods.
Well, the Dolphins' defense has harassed the Ravens into some really difficult offensive possessions late into the shot clock. Parker barely getting the shot up there, a shot clock violation earlier, and you know the CSI coaching staff appreciates that tenacity on defense, and that just seems to be a word we're going back to so often, Nick, tenacity, and I think it really sums up the way the CSI team plays the game.
And you and I spoke about this. You know, we mentioned it earlier. This is the first of their final 2 non-conference games for this team before they go back into conference play later on in the season. And we got a good look at what this team did earlier on in the conference. Even though they lost that game, you saw it in person, that game against Stack. That was a thrilling matchup between them and the Spartans. Both teams scoring over 100 points. It came down to the final shot. The Dolphins not able to tie the game and send it into overtime, but for a team that went to the Sweet 16 last year, being in Stack, for the Dolphins to take them to the limit, that's something that is certainly, you know, a thing that the Dolphins are making a mental note of, that they can compete with some of the best teams in their own conference.
Well, I know that there's no shortage of belief among the players and coaches of the CSI Dolphins team in terms of their position in the ECC. They very much believe they can compete with Damon, compete with Stack, and be in the running for a conference championship. And I think that result at Stack proves that, but also their performance on the road in Florida against Florida Southern and the University of Tampa. Those 2 performances were very impressive as well, and I think this team has shown us on more than one occasion already this season that they can compete with some of the best programs in Division II, some of the best programs in the region, and ultimately they hope to compete very much so with the top 2 teams in the East Coast Conference.
And they certainly have that matchup with Damon that's looming on January 11th, circled on their calendars. That should be a big one to watch for those 2 teams. Inbound pass from Parker to Baca with 6:12 to go in this first half. Dolphins lead this game by 11. Duff out. Kachalewski knocks down the triple.
The Ravens hanging around, and that's a big 3. Once again, a double-digit lead for the Dolphins, and the Ravens have an answer.
Starting to become a 3-point contest these last couple possessions for these 2 teams. Another 3 right there from Tynes. Off the mark, rewritten by Duff. Duff will bring the ball up. He gives it out to Baca. He now gives it up to Parker. Parker gives it up to Kachalewski. Kachalewski looking for somewhere, and the Dolphins just leaving Baca wide open underneath the rim.
Well, it's been an efficient start for Baca here in this first half. He's now 5 of 6. First Raven in double figures. He joins Tynes in double figures. Tynes has 11.
And that looked like a miscommunication on that play in terms of switching, and they left Baca wide open. Cannot do that underneath the rim especially. This is Wiggin. He gives it up to Tynes. Now up to Chestnut. Chestnut for 3. Splash.
Dolphins are now 6 of 10 from beyond the arc, and it just seems impossible to defend this team when they're hitting 3-pointers at that rate.
Chestnut has really been improving his 3-point shooting over the course of time these last couple weeks. Back to a 9-point lead. Another 3-point shot, this time from Parker off the mark. Baca comes down with the rebound, and how about that move? Baca continues his big first half.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it has been his work on the offensive glass, Nick. It's something I highlighted during the pregame. He is a difference maker on the boards.
This is going to be Chestnut bringing up the ball. Dolphins lead now down to 7. Almost lost it underneath the pass. That one might have tipped off of Kone. Goes to Wiggin. Wiggin with the long outlook to Benedict. Benedict on the drive goes up with it. No good. Tippin doesn't go either, and Kachalewski is the one that comes down with the rebound. He brings it up. This is now Baca. Back to Kachalewski. 15 to go on the shot clock. About to hit the 4-minute mark here in the first half. Kachalewski now gives it out to Parker. 5 to go on the clock. Parker on the drive, getting double team at the very end, loses the ball. It remains in possession of Franklin Pierce. 2 seconds to go on the clock, but it reset it to 30, so I'm not sure why that happened. But we are going to immediate timeout. And now reset it to 2. That's what I figured.
Yeah, and you can see the Dolphins bench immediately pointing up at the shot clock.
Yeah.
But once again, Nick, this Dolphins defense has made things so difficult on the Ravens offensively in the half court. They've harassed them well beyond the arc, still managing to keep their man in front of them. Most of the time, they've switched well. You mentioned that one miscommunication. Those have been few and far between in this first half. And I think if you're CSI, you have to be okay with where you are right now, leading by 7. You've shot it at a 60% clip from the field, 60% from downtown. I think it's been primarily Baca that's given them fits. No other Raven is shooting above the 50% mark on more than 2 shot attempts. So I think if you can slow Baca down and keep him off the offensive glass, you're in good shape heading toward halftime.
Yeah, certainly is the case. And on this next upcoming possession, Joe, I mentioned 2 seconds to go on the shot clock. So if you're CSI, are you looking to try to protect the rim? Maybe they're going to Baca on this play, on the inbound pass. We saw in the last game for the Dolphins, they went with the inbound alley-oop. Do the Ravens maybe try to set up something like that, or are they going to try to look for an outside 3 potentially on a quick, give and shoot?
Well, I think you have 2 good options here. Either you make Baca the recipient of the inbound pass and give him a chance to score inside, or you make him the inbounder, and then he slips in off the baseline and works the offensive glass again. Should you put up a tough shot and miss?
I was going to say that one was certainly not before the shot clock expired. So they went to Parker on the inbound pass and just was not able to get the shot up before the shot clock expired. So another shot clock violation forced by this Dolphins defense. This is now Goldstein with the ball. Gets the Kone screen. Gets the pass. Tipped. Now gets it to Tynes. Tynes to Kone. Kone to Chestnut. He'll take the Kone screen for 3. Off the mark, and it's Benedict, and now they'll give it to Tynes. Dolphins getting another second chance opportunity right here. Kone with the long-range jumper, misses, rebounded by Baca. Parker would now look to slow it down here. About to hit the 3-minute mark here in this first half. This is Parker down low to Baca. Baca on the post move. Gets maybe tipped on the initial shot. And Baca now with the frustration foul on that play as he fouls Goldstein.
Yeah, he went up with a really tough shot in the middle of 3 defenders, thought he was fouled, did not get the call, and then exacerbated his woes, as Clyde Frazier would say, with the foul.
Yes. So frustration play right there for Baca. Dolphins will get the ball. Only 5 fouls called in this first half between these two teams, Joe. So referees are starting to let the players play, but as I say that, I probably have jinxed it. There'll probably be a couple more fouls now called before this first half ends.
Commentators jinx, very real, Nick.
And how about that play? Benedict with the high arcing layup off the glass.
Benedict has been aggressive around the basket in this game. He finally gets one to go. He's now 2 of 4 from the field.
That shot missed by Goodman, rebounded by Tynes. Goldstein breaks it up, finds Benedict in the corner for 3. Splash.
And we have our second AB3 of the night. Benedict steps back behind the line in the corner, buries the 3. The Dolphins once again scoring in transition.
Quick pass and a great look right there from Goldstein. Goodman for 3. He knocks it down, back to a single-digit game.
Well, the Ravens are just 3 of 9 from downtown in this game, but they have been timely threes, and those are always important.
That shot blocked by Chestnut is blocked by Cottage, and that one goes up with Chestnut. Almost tipped it in again. Almost the second time in this game the Ravens gave the Dolphins a basket. This is Baca. Thought about the 3. Goes behind the back. He shoots the 3, but it's well short. Rebounded by Benedict. Benedict now with the ball. Under 2 minutes to go. Back out to Benedict. This time for 3. No good, and Kone misses as well. And he'll be called for the foul as Baca goes down.
The Dolphins still all over the offensive glass, but Baca able to secure the rebound after the second attempt by Kone. CSI with a 17-12 advantage on the glass. I think it's 17-13 after that last rebound. Make it 18-13.
Get a quick look at the last 2 sequences for the Dolphins offensively. The Benedict 3, and then before that, gets that high arcing layup off the glass to fall in. You mentioned Benedict has been really aggressive over these last couple of weeks, and when speaking to him a couple of weeks ago when he was the player of the game, that's really the confidence that his coaches have given him over this course of time, that they want him to shoot a lot more, and he has certainly been up to the task. This is Perez. He gives it out. Lavodrama for 3, misses, rebounded by Wiggin. Goldstein up the court. Goldstein now will set it back at the 3-point line. 1 minute to go in the first half. Wiggin with the pull-up jumper, knocks it through.
And that's a shot that Wiggin has been almost automatic on this year. That mid-range pull-up, that one over the outstretched arm of Lavodrama.
Parker on the shot. He answers back with a 2 of his own. Timeout Dolphins.
Really fast-paced action in this game, Nick. It's been a fun one to watch, even if I am tanking it in on a 5-second delay via a monitor. What am I, 700 miles away or so?
I would not ask me about that. I am the wrong person.
We'll ask Google.
But, Joe, I'll have to think about what I'm going to ask TJ Tibbs at our TLC Physical Therapy halftime report. And someone told me that you might be asking him something before he heads to the locker room for halftime.
Perhaps. I'm just going to ask him if he misses me yet.
Okay.
I am
here's
1,100 miles away, Nick.
So here's what we'll do. I'll ask him my 2 questions, and then I'll say before you go, TJ, we have one final word, and then I'll lead you in.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
That'll be a unique way of the halftime interview. He'll have the headset when we introduce him for the halftime, but that'll have to wait just a couple seconds. About 40 seconds to go in the half. This is Goldstein. Long-range 3 again. And it just misses off the double bounce, rebounded by Duff. That one was a wait-and-see shot right there by Goldstein as it took a couple big bounces, almost went in for 3. And now the Ravens will wait about a 5 or 6 second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Duff waiting at the half court. Takes his time, gets the screen. He drives. He'll take the pull-up jumper on the spin, and he knocks it through. 7 seconds to go. Benedict up the court, back out to Goldstein. Goldstein avoids the contact. Out to Tynes for 3. Off the mark. And that will be the end of the first half here between the Dolphins and the Ravens as the Ravens make a nice little push towards the end of this first half. They go into halftime trail in this game 46-39. In just a few short moments, we'll be joined by men's basketball head coach TJ Tibbs for the TLC Physical Therapy Halftime Report. All right, we are joined for our halftime report with head coach TJ Tibbs. And TJ, let's first start off with what did you like out of that first half from your team in terms of the offensive side? A lot of transition buckets and early double-digit lead, but the Ravens making a nice little push before the half.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, I like that the ball's being shared and we're getting good opportunities. I don't love how we are on the glass right now, but I think that has to do a lot with Franklin Pierce's physicality. I think they're doing a good job on both ends being physical. I think there were only 6 fouls called. Great officiated game is clean. So we got to do a better job on the offensive end, getting on the glass, finishing around the rim. I thought we left a couple of points on the board around the rim, a tip-in, a flip layup. So we got to do a better job there. But I think the story of this game so far is defensively. I mean, we're playing one of the best guards in the region, one of the best players in the region. But he has so many great pieces that you don't even want to call them complimentary that are around him. It's a really great team. So they're really well tested. They're giving us a tough time defensively, and we definitely have to clean it up.
And something that I know you're going to be looking forward to finding out is what is your team's mindset in the second half in terms of trying to stop Raymond Bacco, who's had a couple of big second chance points and a lot of offensive rebounds in this first half.
Yeah, I would love to see too. I mean, I would much rather be a fan at home to be able to watch and see what's going to go on. But, I mean, he's a great player. He's tough. He's ready to play. I mean, he's very impressive. He's strong. He's physical. And we knew he was going to be tough to handle. So we just got to figure that out. And a lot of that is just answering the call and being competitive and, you know, the whole reason that everybody's out here playing this basketball game today. So it's going to be fun to go back out there. You know, Mike is a tremendous coach and is well storied in this region how successful that he's been. And he's going to come in, he's going to make adjustments, and they're going to continue to play hard in the second half.
Now, one final thing. I have a word from my other broadcast partner, Joe Foreman. He's got a question from you from Florida.
Oh, I wanted to say, Coach, since I won't see you again, have a happy new year, and I hope my absence isn't being taken too hard just yet.
Who is this?
This is Joe Foreman.
I don't know who that is. I see Nick Bavona in front of me. That's who I see.
That's true.
So I don't speak to ghosts, but whoever this is, go celebrate. Happy New Year. Happy holidays, my man. And you stay ghosty. And I hope you pack a jacket.
Yeah, I am very pale, I must say.
Well, great transition right there.
We're working on it.
Very interesting words to end this first half from Coach TJ Tibbs as we go into the halftime. Joe, the Dolphins leading this game 46-39. Any final thoughts before we head to break?
Well, taking a look at the numbers in this game, Nick, the big one that jumps out, and perhaps a bit of a surprising number, is that Franklin Pierce has been the more efficient team. They're shooting nearly 53% from the field. However, perhaps not as surprising, the Dolphins have been the better team from downtown. And we've seen CSI's three-point shooting help them overshadow some miscues. That being said, Nick, despite several turnovers early, the Dolphins really cleaned things up in that area later in that first half. Beyond the midway point of the first half, I'm not sure the Dolphins had more than one turnover because they had 4 in the first few minutes and finished the half with just 5. So if the Dolphins can continue to limit the turnovers and remain just as efficient as they have been from beyond the arc, it's still going to be tough for the Ravens to complete the climb back. Keep in mind as well, CSI on the positive side of the turnover battle, the Ravens have turned it over 7 times themselves, just 3 of 11 from downtown, but despite that, they're shooting 53% from the field. I think for Franklin Pierce, if a player outside of Raymond Baca can find their stroke at the offensive end and begin to pick things up, then I think they can really begin to make a push to take the lead and steal a win here on the road.
And Coach TJ Tibbs mentioned that with Parker being one of the best players in the conference, but it's been Baca that's been leading the charge for the Ravens in this first half, getting them back to within 7 as we head into halftime. More to come here on Flow College between the Dolphins and the Ravens. The halftime score, CSI 46, Franklin Pierce 39. We'll rejoin you in just a few minutes as we'll break down the first half and look ahead towards the second half of this matchup between CSI and Franklin Pierce.
We've learned a lot from him, and we've probably learned more from him than he's learned from us.
I think they're a real important part in my life. I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact is a national nonprofit that connects kids living with serious and chronic illness with college athletic teams, forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes.
Give me a break it! Break it! Can I have a hug?
What's your favorite subject?
Math.
When you spread the word about Team Impact, you have the power to change lives.
NCAA athletes don't just compete, they make history. Representing our nation with pride and excellence, they bring home the hardware. Our college campuses serve as training grounds for the next generation of stars. Catch tomorrow's Olympians and Paralympians on the NCAA Championship stage today.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
If you want to win in every arena of college life, go D2. Make it yours.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
Nicholas Pavona and Joe Foreman rejoining you for the second half coverage between the Dolphins and the Ravens. It is a 46-39 CSI lead getting into the half. We are just about 2 minutes and 20 seconds away from the second half beginning. And Joe, we talked about the numbers in the first half. Both teams at a really, really high efficient rate so far in this game. The Ravens shooting just under 53% from the floor. The Dolphins shooting exactly 50% from the floor, including 46.7% from the three-point line. But Franklin Pierce, despite being down double digits a couple times in this game, is hanging around with this Dolphins squad.
Yeah, and I mentioned it before we headed into the halftime break. Raymond Baca has been a huge reason why. He has 12 points and 5 rebounds on 6 of 9 from the floor, and he's really been a difference maker, as we suspected he would be coming into this game. He scored well around the rim in the mid-range, and we've seen him attempt a three-pointer as well. That one, a bit of a line drive three that did not go, but we've seen some good things from Baca at all three levels in this game, able to score working his way in from the outside, not just catching the ball down low and looking to score from there. So I think the Dolphins will need to focus on slowing him down, and at that point, it becomes important for one of the other Ravens, maybe more than just one, to step up. We mentioned Anthony Parker coming in. He has 6 points on 3 of 7. No other Raven has more than 2 made field goals in this game. So I think if you're the Ravens, you have to try and find a way to get some of your other players outside of Baca going at the offensive end. And on the other side, if you're the Dolphins, it's hard to say that all they need to do is continue to shoot at this rate and they'll win the game, because in many games, they've shot it at an exceptional rate. Not quite as exceptional today, but still great. 50% from the field, 47% from downtown. And I think if you're the Dolphins and you continue to limit the turnovers and you can get the Ravens shooting down just a bit with the tenacity that we've seen on the defensive side from CSI, I think you find yourself in a good position leading by 7 at the start of the second half.
And I think that's just it. You mentioned it, Joe. The Dolphins shooting 50%, but what we've seen this season has really been extra from this team in terms of how they've been shooting the ball. They've been just so, efficient, and at 50%, normally you would say that's a great half for a lot of teams. And it's not that it's not a great half for the CSI team, but I think the way that half ended, they went back up double digits. Franklin Pierce made the little run before the halftime buzzer hit. So I think that's what's a little bit frustrating for this team going into the second half. A couple of second chance points for the Ravens as well. Dolphins leading this game on the glass 20-14, but Franklin Pierce is not going to make this easy for CSI as this game goes on.
Certainly not, Nick. And Coach Tibbs mentioned the physicality, and that weighs on a team. Whether or not you're prepared for it, you can come in as prepared as can be. But when a team really takes it to you physically, that's a challenge. And the Ravens have done that well in this game so far. We'll see if they can keep it up for another 20 minutes.
Dolphins get the second half inbound. This is Chestnut now with the ball. Gives it up to Wiggin. Wiggin finds it underneath. He gets it to Chestnut. Now to Kone. Back to Goldstein. Goldstein on the drive. Out to Chestnut for 3. Splash.
Well, we've seen that a few times before in this game. 8th 3 of the night for the Dolphins. Second for Chestnut. He has 14.
Chestnut right now the leading scorer for CSI in this game. This is now Parker on the other end. He shoots for 3. Cannot answer back. Rebounded by Wiggin. Goldstein brings the ball up. Gets the screen from Tynes and Kone. Thought about the 3. Gives it to Wiggin. Wiggin underneath with the left-handed lay-in.
Wiggin continues to show off that versatility. Can score from the mid-range, beyond the arc, and at the rim.
Once again, Joe, the Dolphins just going quickly up on that play. It wasn't as quick as the other plays, but it was still a very quick possession for CSI. As answer it quickly, meanwhile, is Parker on the other end.
And I think the Ravens really need more of that. Parker stepping up and really doubling as another offensive leader behind Baca in this game.
Wiggin hands it off to Goldstein. Goldstein back out to the three-point line, gives it up to Tynes. Tynes to Chestnut. Chestnut to Wiggin. Wiggin taking a couple of big bounces off the contact, still has the ball. This is Tynes for a long 3. Off the mark, looking for a foul maybe on the play as well. As it goes out of bounds, Ravens ball.
Well, if you're the Dolphins, I think I mentioned slowing down Baca. You have to be careful of not letting Parker get going either, because if he starts to get hot, that could spell trouble.
Okay, look quick at that left-handed layup by Wiggin. This is now Baca with the ball underneath. Getting the contact from Kone. Tough shot, rebounded by Kone, and he'll get the foul drawn on Baca.
Baca got in very deep there into the paint, working on Kone, but Asa stood his ground, contested it well, strong rebound, and draws the foul.
We'll also get a look at that Chestnut 3 to open the scoring here in this half. Speaking of Chestnut, he brings up the ball, gives it up to Tynes. He gives it back up to Chestnut. Chestnut now to Kone. Kone to Goldstein. Back out to Chestnut. He thought about the 3. Long range 2, and it falls through. Another big shot right there by Chestnut. It's now a 12-point Dolphin lead once again. Goodman on the drive, gives it up. Losing the ball right there was Kachalewski. It's a turnover. Here comes Goldstein up the court. Goes for the alley-oop to Kone, and Kone is fouled by Parker in the process.
Well, this Dolphins team very bold when it comes to attempting the highlight reel plays, and so often Asa Kone is on the receiving end. And for a big, he can run the floor very well, gets out ahead of that fast break, and is often looked to on those alley-oop opportunities.
Stoppage in play right now as Kone will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. I believe the first time we're going to be going to our alternate camera angle on this side of the court. I think we've been on the right-hand side for free throws.
You are correct, as the Ravens did not attempt a free throw in the first half.
That's right. Kone misses the first one right there. Has one more to shoot. Dolphins lead this game by 12. And he'll knock down the second one. Dolphins now up 13. I think the beauty of you also being remotely, Joe, is with you're not technically going to jinx the free throw shooter when you're talking.
Well, I was actually just thinking the same thing, so great minds think alike, but it's not so much jinxing him. It's being the only voice in the building
That's
that
true.
can be heard.
Yeah, it was a very, very quiet tank here with that last couple of free throw sequence right there. Baca looking for somewhere to go. Gives it up to Watson. Watson will be fouled on the play. It looks like he'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2. And as you mentioned, Joe, before, I believe this is going to be the first free throw attempts of this game for Franklin Pierce.
Yeah, and it's hard to build a comeback trailing now by 13 points when the other team has gotten to the line so much more. Dolphins have only taken 6 free throws, but when you've taken none, it's really hard to get that comeback going, especially because the clock continues to run throughout that comeback bid if you're not stopping it by getting to the line and shaving points off that lead.
Watson missed the first of 2, gets a second free throw right here. And Watson goes 1 for 2 from the stripe. It's now a 12-point game. Get a little bit now to see of the half-court press potentially from the Ravens as Chestnut brings up the ball. He gives it up to Wiggin. Wiggin thought about driving, goes up with the shot and is rejected by Ferreras, but Kone gets the ball back, almost passes it over Chestnut, who caresses it in. Chestnut to Wiggin. Wiggin loses the ball, back out to Tynes. 8 on the shot clock. Tynes takes that shot, and it's a tough one, but he knocks it through.
He's a really good, difficult shot shooter, isn't he, Nick?
We saw it the last game, too. We got that offensive rebound and the fall-away jumper, and that's another fall-away jumper right there on a broken play pretty much for CSI. This is Duff. Gives it out to Kochalewski. 8 to go on the shot clock. Gets contact from Wiggin, loses the ball, keeps it now, passes it underneath to Watson. Watson goes up and gets a tough lay-in.
We saw it early in the first half. These two teams trading tough baskets. There's another one right there.
Goldstein out to Tynes. Tynes for 3. Off the mark, rebounded by Duff.
You don't see Tynes miss many of those.
Realistically, it looked like his first open look 3 of the night. And speaking of threes, it's Watson that knocks down the 3. He's provided a nice spark off the bench.
And I said it coming into the half, Nick. The Ravens really needed players to step up at the offensive end and shoulder more of a scoring load behind Baca. And right now, Watson's done that.
Dolphins go for the alley-oop pass to Wiggin. He could not make, and it was a foul called on Wiggin to Baca. So Baca called for the foul. Dolphins, another foul here as we head to our first media timeout of the second half. And Joe, once again, Franklin Pierce not going to make this one easy for CSI. They make it a single-digit game off that last 3 by Watson.
Well, this game, Nick, is reminding me a lot of the game between CSI and Holy Family. The Dolphins built a first-half lead. It extended into double digits. And then after Holy Family fought back for a short time in the second half, the Dolphins really pulled away. And if the Ravens can instead pull even closer and get this game even or take the lead, they can steer this game in a very different direction from the game that we saw the Dolphins play against the Tigers last time we covered this team back on December 20th. But if you're the Ravens, you have to like what you've gotten from Watson now. He's 2 for 2 with a free throw. He has 6 points. And with that, he is already just 2 points behind the second leading scorer. That's Parker. He has 8 points. And, of course, Baca leading the way for the Ravens with 12.
Yeah, you mentioned that's the Ravens looking for someone outside of Baca to maybe provide a spark in the second half. And it's been Watson so far. Just 2 minutes in to him playing in this half. As you mentioned, he's 2 for 2 from the field, 1-1 from 3. And as you also mentioned, just 2 points off the second highest scorer on the team being Parker. With 6 points, Parker has 8, 9-point game with 15:38 to go in regulation. It'll be Ravens basketball as Wiggin was called for that foul before the media timeout. 2 fouls now on each side. Inbound pass to Watson. He gives it up to Duff. Almost providing a little bit of pressure at the half court as Duff does get it up the court. Duff to Ferreras. Looking for Duff to move on the play. Still looking for him to move. He goes up with the up and under and is short. And it will be CSI basketball.
Well, considering how disorganized that offensive possession seemed to be.
Correction, Joe. They now just changed the call to Ravens basketball.
Well, it doesn't change the point I was about to make. Considering how disorganized that possession appeared to be, Ferreras got a pretty good look at it from inside.
Another 20 on the clock for the Ravens. Quick shot by Duff off the inbound. Misses. Ball's loose. Caressed by Watson. He goes up with it. And looking for a foul on the play for Kone. No call. Rewritten by Chestnut. Chestnut inside to Kone. Kone almost lost it. And he's fouled by Baca.
Well, I think the Ravens would have been served to use a bit more of the 20 seconds they had on that last possession following the second offensive board.
And keep in mind, Joe, with that last foul, Baca now has 3 fouls in this game. And it looks like he's going to check out.
Yeah, I think with nearly 15 minutes to go in this game, you have to send him to the bench here. You can't risk losing him for what would be an effectively 10-plus minute stretch if he picks up another foul quickly.
They'll bring Parker back in to try to get maybe some scoring from him. Inbound pass from Chestnut to Kone. Back out to Chestnut. Chestnut will take the 3. Misses, but it looks like there was a foul call just before the shot. And that was indeed the case.
Well, Ferreras now has 3.
And Ferreras is the one that's now guarding Kone underneath, so that's something to note out as well. Both centers have 3 fouls in this game. This is Chestnut now with the ball, gives it up to Tynes. Tynes to Goldstein. Goldstein with the dribble out to Chestnut for 3. That one falls in for Chestnut.
High arcing deep 3 from J.J. Chestnut. That's his 3rd triple. He has 19 points.
Chestnut with a nice impact in this game, and he certainly has made a huge impact from the 3-point line. Parker with the miss right there, rebounded by Watson, and Watson will once again go to the free throw line.
Well, I said it before, Nick. If you are the Ravens and you can stop the clock and shave some points off that Dolphins lead, that's what you're looking to do, as we got to look one more time at that Chestnut 3. And you mentioned the confidence that JJ has been shooting with from downtown lately, and that his 3-point percentage has been steadily rising coming in. On the season now, he's shooting 35% from distance. Came in having attempted just 29 3-pointers, hit 10 of those. Tonight, he's 3 for 4.
Watson knocked down the first free throw, look to go 2 for 2.
I can hear the silence over your headset, Nick. And I noticed how you were allowing me to speak as much as I wanted during the free throws.
Gotta respect the shooter, I always say, Joe. 10-point game now after Watson goes 2 for 2.
We have a job to do.
We do have a job to do, that is true.
you're not as loud as you think when it's silent.
How about that play? Chestnut continues his aggressiveness as he gets the lay-in right there.
Well, he's hit a bunch of tough shots around the rim, and now with Baca out of the game, I think there is a vulnerability inside for the Dolphins to attack.
Tough shot right there, and that one's going to fall in. That was Cottage.
Showing off some really adept moves around the basket.
Alley-oop pass to Kone. Loses it up the way, and it will remain with the Dolphins. He threw it off of one of the Ravens.
I don't know how he did that, Nick. You might want to get one more look at that.
I'm not sure how he did it either.
He was tumbling over the ball and was somehow able to stay in and throw it off a defender before landing on the baseline.
Let's get a look right here. Can't tell if you could see it, but it was just barely that he got that throw off.
Yeah, you could see the ball hit the defender in the lower leg and foot, but not whether Kone had hit the baseline.
Dolphins with second life right here. This is Goldstein now with it. Goldstein on the drive. Looked for Kone on the no-look pass. And the Dolphins contending that it went off of one of the Ravens, but it's a Dolphins turnover.
And for the Dolphins, that is just their first turnover of the second half, nearly 7 minutes in.
They've gotten the turnover numbers down in this game since a slow start to this one. But a bad turnover right there is Duff with a tough basket going past Goldstein. It's back to a single-digit game.
Well, the Ravens have continued to shoot it well here in the second half, still over 50%. The Dolphins shooting over 50%. I think one of these teams will have to come down to earth at some point. Who's going to blink?
Well, we'll have to see because Benedict continues to have momentum going. He gets the lay-in.
And that's too easy if you're looking at it from the perspective of the Ravens. Can't let that happen.
And you mentioned with that Baca, the Dolphins looking to attack inside the paint. That one misses off the mark. Loose ball goes out of bounds, and it will go to CSI.
Yeah, you could see Ferreras tip that ball away from Kone, but these two teams have been feasting inside in this game. A combined 52 points in the paint.
This is Chestnut now. We get a screen from Benedict. Pisses out to Kone. Kone to Tynes. Tynes back out to Chestnut. Back out to Tynes. His three is blocked. He gets the rebound. 8 seconds to go on the shot clock. Out look pass to Benedict. He loses it. 3 to go on the clock. Benedict throws up the 3. It hits the rim, and Kone grabs the rebound. Second chance for the Dolphins. Kone goes up. Passes it underneath the Tynes. Loose ball. And a jump ball underneath the rim.
Well, we mentioned the tenacity defensively from the Dolphins earlier deep into the shot clock. How about that defensive possession for Franklin Pierce, stifling the Dolphins for 30 seconds?
And I'm also impressed with how Benedict got that shot off the rim. Barely got it off the rim at the back end side and gave the Dolphins a second chance, but the tie-up does award us this next media timeout with 11:45 to go. Dolphins back up double digits in this game, 63-53, and I think you also just got that text that Stephanie just sent us just a couple seconds ago, so I won't say it yet unless you want me to say it.
Oh, well, I think you already mentioned we got one, so you have to say it. You have to.
So we probably do. So the text message that we have received is that J.J. Chestnut 6 points away from 1,000.
You just jinxed him, Nick.
Well, you told me to say it.
I don't believe in such a thing. I don't believe in such a thing.
You told me to say it. I'll take full blame if anything. How about that?
I like his chances, especially the way he's played in this game. JJ with 21 points on 9 of 14, 3 of 4 from downtown, and we haven't said his name much tonight, especially in terms of scoring, but Aaron Goldstein, who has 7 points on 3 of 5 shooting, has 3 rebounds, 12 assists, and 3 steals.
And that's something that I would like to find out also, Joe. I think we had that same record earlier in the year. Didn't Goldstein have a game with 13 or 14 assists?
I know JJ had a game.
JJ had it, right.
Yeah, JJ had a game with 12 or 13.
Yes, okay. So we might be on record watch for assists also in this game as the Dolphins, after forcing a turnover, give it right back. And Parker thought about going up for the dunk, and he's just grateful at least he got the 2 points on the lay-in.
Yeah, that's typically what my dunk attempts look like in 2025. But
Not
2026 will be a new year.
Not in 2K, not in 2K.
No. In 2K, I throw him down.
Yeah, of course. Benedict now with the ball, 15 to go on the clock. Looking for somewhere to go. Gives it up to Tynes. Back out to Goldstein. Goldstein gets the screen. He's now double-teamed. He passes out to Benedict. Benedict for 3. Off the mark. That ball volleyed up in the air and rebounded by Wigan. Second chance again for CSI. Alley-oop pass to Kone, and they finish it.
Second chances, Nick. This Dolphins team finds a way to capitalize time and time again. Wigan tipped it, secured it. Goldstein to Kone for the alley-oop.
Big-time second chance points. It's been another moniker for this team this season, those second chance opportunities. It's back up to a double-digit game. Duff goes up with it, and he's fouled in the process. We'll see who the foul is on. It's going to be on Kone.
And that assist for Aaron Goldstein, number 13. We'll see if my internet allows me to open the record books and figure out how close we are to a new D2 record.
And I say that because I remember seeing the post not too long ago about Chestnut's mark. As we get a look at that assist right there, number 13, as you mentioned, for Goldstein on the alley-oop. This is Baca now back into the game, goes up and under, misses it. Ball is loose, and it's Goldstein that's going to come down as the rebound. He goes up to the court to Tynes, and the Dolphins now will reset. This is Benedict on the drive. One-handed floater is good. Andrew Benedict with a flashy play right there.
That was a very unorthodox-looking floater, Nick. A teardrop by any estimation.
Duff, meanwhile, taking a lot of contact on that play. First from Goldstein, then from Kone. And it's Goldstein that's called for the foul.
All right, Nick, the Division II record for assists in a game, 14 by J.J. Chestnut on November 22nd of 2022 at St. Michael's College.
Okay. So Goldstein's 2 assists away. And it was funny enough, as I said that, that's when the gymnasium started to go quiet. And how about this, Joe? I don't know if you've noticed. Michael Oyakhilome is checked into the game for the Dolphins.
First time that we've seen him take the floor this year.
Got a nice ovation as he made his way onto the court, replacing Kone, as Duff goes 1 for 2 from the line.
It is his season debut.
Did see him in pregame warm-ups. I did mention that to you along the way. So a good sign to see him in this game. And how about Goldstein? Quickly goes to the basket.
Once again, too easy, Nick. First it was the Benedict layup off the feed inside, and then Goldstein allowed to go right to the rim as that 3 was short.
That shot was made by Parker. He missed it, rebounded, and now the Dolphins have it. Goldstein for 3. Off the mark and rebounded by Parker. Parker looking to push it up the court. He'll continue his drive, passes it out. They thought about the 3. Loose ball. Goodman's got it. His floater is good.
Ravens won't go away. Every time it looks like the Dolphins may extend that lead beyond 15, closer to 20, the Ravens find a big basket.
Back to an 11-point lead for CSI. 8:45 to go in regulation. Goldstein out to Benedict. Benedict thought about the 3. He drives. Back out to Goldstein for 3. Off the mark. Benedict comes up with the rebound and gets the putback.
How many times have we seen that, Nick? Benedict in the right place at the right time. He's not the biggest. He's not the strongest. But he's certainly giving all of the effort needed to grab offensive boards, and that time converts the putback.
His vertical on that play had to have been an insane way to get that rebound. Dolphins back up 13. Baca underneath, and he's fouled by Tynes.
And we mentioned, Nick, that Aaron Goldstein very well could be on record watch the rest of the way for assists. If he gets one more, he ties his head coach for third most assists all time in the history of the men's basketball program. That includes Division III era. The Division III record for assists and the all-time program record is 17, held by Frank Schettino. He's also second all-time with 15 assists in a game.
And if you remember the last game we covered, Goldstein was had 8 threes in that game. He was one away, I believe, from tying the record at 9.
I'm not sure if we dug back and found that 9 was the record. I wrote it in the headline, so I must have figured it out by going through box scores. But we need to add that to the record books officially this year.
Both free throws missed by Baca, meanwhile, so a missed chance right there for the Ravens. They're still down 13. Goldstein on the drive, pull-up jumper, just rattles out, rebounded by Baca. This is Parker. Back out to Baca. Baca with a little bit of confusion right there, what he wanted to do. Kachalewski now back out to Baca. Baca underneath, throws it down.
And Nick, for Baca, those are his first points of the second half. The Dolphins had held him without anything. The foul trouble certainly contributing to that, but the Ravens could really use him to jumpstart their offense here.
Keep in mind, with Kone now out of the game, maybe that is the point of emphasis of attack. Trying to get inside of the paint. Goldstein with the left-handed layup. It does not go, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Well, speaking of Kone, he is on the bench right now, I would assume, for rest, as he played 27 minutes in this game.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen him cross 30 minutes much this year, if at all. And I'm going to double-check that right now. I'm not sure we've seen him play far past 30 minutes in a game yet this year.
Not that I can recall either.
He has surpassed 30 minutes once here at home, twice here at home.
Yes.
His average, which we will find on the individual stats breakdown, is 27 minutes per game. So he's already played his average. To be fair, I think he did leave a game with injury earlier in the year and did have some foul trouble in a couple of games. So I think you'd expect him to play on an average game somewhere in the low 30s. But if you're going to have him end up there, he's not going to come in for another 2 or 3 minutes. If you're the Dolphins, you may need him right now.
And I think that's why they want to see Oyakami, who, as we mentioned, is making his first minutes of the season right now. We've seen him in other years, filling in for guys like Messiah Mallory underneath the rim, where they need to give him some minutes of rest. So that's what they're trying to do right now with Kone, but we'll see if he does check back in ahead of this, after this media timeout. And it does not look to be the case, so Oyakami will stay in. It'll be Wiggin, Oyakami, Goldstein, Chestnut, and Benedict, the 5 for the Dolphins.
And immediately after energizing his team with a dunk, Baca picked up his 4th foul.
Yeah.
So he goes right back to the bench.
He might be there for a little bit with 7:15.
Yeah, I think he has to be.
Have to think maybe after the 4-minute media timeout, maybe he checks back in. We'll have to see. First free throw for Goldstein knocks through. Dolphins back up 12. Second free throw from Goldstein is good. Dolphins now up by 14. Or 13, excuse me. A little bit ahead of myself there, Joe.
That's all right. You're doing multiple jobs today.
It was one of those.
You're there.
It was one of those looking up at the scoreboard, and I thought they were maybe a second behind me, as a tough shot right there makes it back to 11. Wow. Always have to double check the scoreboard before I make the statement. This is Benedict on the drive. Loses it. Still has it, but he's double-teamed, and he throws it off of Parker. It'll remain with the Dolphins. 14 to go on the shot clock.
You do what you have to in that situation if you're Benedict. He was trapped along that baseline with nowhere to go, but going back to that last bucket, it looked like Kotic just threw it up at the basket and was able to bank it in. Dolphins. Those are the kind of bounces the Ravens may need the rest of the way.
Yeah, certainly will be the case. And with the Dolphins, also keep in mind, Joe, they're one foul away from being in the bonus, so one more foul, and that would put the Ravens at the free throw line for the bonus as they try to get back into this game. 5 on the shot clock. Goldstein goes up with it, misses. Oyakami with the rebound, misses as well. Kotic grabbed it, and now here comes Goodman with the ball. Chance for the Ravens to go quick. Parker for 3. Falls in, and it's back to a single-digit game.
That's a big shot by Parker, and if that can really begin to get him going, he's now 6 of 13. Just 1 of 6 from downtown, but no three-pointer in this game for the Ravens bigger than that one.
8-point lead now for CSI. As Goldstein again on the drive, kicks it out to Chestnut. Chestnut behind the back, out to Wiggin for 3. Off the mark, and it's rebounded by Ferreras. Now a chance once again for Franklin Pierce. Down by 8 with under 6 minutes. Parker for 3, will not count. Offensive foul on the screen.
Yeah, not much of a question about that one. Ferreras got moving downhill and barreled over Aaron Goldstein. No chance for him to contest. It's been an off night for Parker from downtown. Just 1 of 6 from distance and had a miss erased right there with the offensive foul.
Dolphins still up by 8. Goldstein now with the ball. Takes the screen from Kone to Tynes for 3. Again off the mark, loose ball, kicks out to Chestnut for 3. And that one just rolls off the rim. Couple chances right there for the Dolphins, not able to capitalize. This is now Parker with the ball. Parker looking to set something up. Ferraris with the pass, now back out to Parker. They went for the alley-oop and a hard contact underneath the rim. And Kone is going to be called for the foul.
Clean play by Kone. He did get to the ball, but the body positioning of both players caused Ferreras to go down. And he will head to the line here for 2 shots. And these are 2 big free throws. Both teams have attempted 8 free throws thus far in this game. The Ravens 4 of 8, the Dolphins 6 of 8.
Now, keep in mind, Joe, that was not a shooting foul they called.
Oh, they didn't call it a shooting foul.
This is going to be a 1-and-1
right.
off of the bonus.
He never had the ball. He never had the ball.
First of the 1-and-1 misses. Still loose ball, and it's Wiggin that comes down with it. Couple of big misses late in this game for the Ravens as they have been trying to chip away in this deficit, but a couple of missed free throws are not helping them right now. Under 5 to go. Chestnut with the ball, gives it up to Tynes. He gives it back up to Chestnut. Now out to Kone. Kone to Goldstein. Goldstein on the drive. Behind the back pass to Chestnut for 3. Off the mark, rebounded by Watson.
What a feed there by Goldstein.
Dolphins looking for a highlight reel play right there. Watson on the, or Parker, on the drive, misses, and it's rebounded by Tynes. Dolphins looking to go up the court. They have numbers. Kone on the finish, cannot finish that one in the dunk. And an offensive foul as Ferraris was trying to pass the ball up the court, and I think he elbowed Wiggin on the play.
A lot to unpack there, Nick. A very unusual call there on the offensive foul. It looked like Ferraris was trapped along the baseline, tried to create some space, and as you said, he elbowed Wiggin in the face. Before that, Kone had a chance for a highlight reel slam, pass just a bit off the mark. Not sure they needed to throw the alley-oop there with how open he was, but that's a tough one to pass up.
And with that last foul now, both teams are in the bonus, so free throws on the next foul that is attempted for either side. Kone
is fouled out as well, Nick.
That is indeed correct. Goldstein, long 3. Again off the mark. Tynes goes for it, but will not be able to. And now, meanwhile, Joe, the Dolphins starting to get a little bit cold from the outside.
They're ice cold, Nick. They're now shooting a lower three-point percentage than the Ravens. CSI is 9 of 29 from downtown.
Something that we have not seen this season from this Dolphins team in terms of shooting. They still have an 8-point lead, under 4 minutes now to go in this game. Parker, how about that find? He finds Baca underneath. It's a 6-point game.
Well, I said it before, Nick. One of these two teams eventually would have to come down to earth shooting. It looks like that team right now is the Dolphins. Do they have enough stops and big buckets left in them to hold on to this lead?
We'll see if the Dolphins, meanwhile, Joe, go try to get something off of Baca. We mentioned it earlier. He has 4 fouls. He is 1 away from fouling out. This is Chestnut with Watson on him. 8 to go on the shot clock. He passes it to Goldstein. Goldstein on the find. Nice play by Goldstein. And it's back to an 8-point game.
You hate to lose Goldstein in that situation if you're the Ravens. Once again, an easy 2 for the Dolphins.
Pass underneath. Cottage out to Watson for 3. Watson's off the mark. Loose ball picked up by Baca. underneath to Kochalowski. He gets it. It's back to a 6-point game.
Able to hang and hit there. Tough shot inside. And Watson had a really good look at it from 3, and once again it's Baca on the offensive glass. He only has 8 rebounds, but many of those have been key. I think at least 3 or 4 of those have been on the offensive glass. That one leads to 2 points and a timeout.
Timeout for the Ravens. Meanwhile, it's also the media timeout. So Franklin Pierce now with just 1 timeout remaining. And the final 3 minutes of this game, the Dolphins still have 3 timeouts for them, but it's now back to a 6-point CSI lead, 75-69, with 3 minutes to go.
And I said it before, Nick, you would expect that the shooting numbers for at least one of these teams would come back down to earth. That team right now is the Dolphins, but they continue to win the turnover battle. They've turned the Ravens over 11 times, have just 6 turnovers of their own. In terms of the three-point shooting, percentage-wise, these two teams are equal, but the Dolphins have hit 1 more 3 on 13 more attempts. Make that 4 more threes. I was looking at the wrong column there on my score sheet. But the Ravens, 5 of 16 from downtown. The Dolphins, 9 of 29. Those extra CSI threes looking pretty important right now. And we'll see if their defense can come up with the big stops they need, because right now they're pretty cold from the field. You need a big bucket. You have a lot of players you can turn to on the CSI side of things, but you know that you can always count on your defense in these late-game situations. We've seen it more than once already this season. Even had a game effectively end on a charge drawn. So a lot of different ways you can find to escape this one with a win if you're the Dolphins. And if you're the Ravens, keep doing what you're doing offensively, and perhaps you can steal a win on the road against a red-hot CSI team.
And, Joe, what did we say earlier about that alley-oop play that was tipped into the basket? That right now could be the deciding factor, potentially, of this game. And you mentioned as well the three-point shooting numbers for the Dolphins in the half. They are 2 for 14. Still await the inbound pass. It's gotten awfully quiet now again.
Well, I did say one team would have to come down to earth. Down to earth for the Dolphins is still shooting 40% in the half, despite that 2 of 14 from 3.
Benedict takes the contact from Watson, now passes it to Wiggin. Looks like they're pressuring the ball handler on this play, and they force the turnover. Here come the Ravens. Parker goes up the court, drives, left-handed back layup. It's good, and it's a 4-point game.
What a job by Parker there to use the rim to help shield him from his defender. Went up with the left on the reverse, got it to go. It's now a 4-point game as we approach the 2-minute mark.
And we've seen this the last couple of games for the Dolphins where they have an early lead, and at the late stages, these teams come back and force a couple turnovers on this Dolphins offense. Chestnut with the high arcing shot misses. Rebounded by Baca, and a chance for the Ravens to make this a one-possession game on this possession right here. 2 minutes to go. Parker for 3. Off the mark. Grabs his own offensive rebound. Misses. Ball is still loose, and the Dolphins have it. Benedict up the court. Gives it up to Kone. Almost lost it. Goldstein with a wide-open 3. Splash.
What a huge basket for Aaron Goldstein and the Dolphins there. And before that, an even bigger rebound by Asa Kone. Parker looked like he had an easy 2 right in front of him, couldn't finish, and then Kone snatched the rebound, got the Dolphins moving in transition, and wouldn't you know it, Nick, it's an AG3, the big bucket down the stretch, makes it a 3-score game. You saw the rebound, you see the 3-point basket, huge sequence for the Dolphins.
And the Ravens, meanwhile, Joe, if you saw right there on the Kone play on the screen that got Goldstein open for 3, that's where the Ravens right now are discussing as they're trying to figure out why there wasn't an offensive foul called on Kone for that screen that allowed Goldstein to get the wide open 3.
Let's get another look at it from in close, Nick, because Goldstein did get wide open.
There's a second look. I can kind of see what the Ravens are, the argument is.
Yeah, he left his feet. That's the thing there, Nick.
Yeah.
I think if he had remained grounded and backed into the defensive player inadvertently, I think maybe that one is a play on. But I think with the way he left his feet, whether or not he knew he had the defender on his heels, leaving his feet caused the defender to go down.
That was a tough possession for the Ravens, meanwhile, Joe, because Parker had to look for 3. He was short on the mark, was able to grab his own offensive rebound, but they missed the 2 chances there. The Dolphins go on the other side and make it back to a 7-point lead, 1:48 to go in this game. Parker will bring up the ball. His team now trailing by 7. Goes past the screen, goes up, and he will go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Well, if you're the Dolphins, that's exactly what you wanted to avoid. The only way it could have ended up worse is if that goes down or you surrender a quick 3. But to foul and send Franklin Pierce right to the line gives them an opportunity here to stop the clock and pull a bit closer. That being said, the Ravens have not cashed in from the stripe here in the second half.
As Parker knocks down that first one. For the Dolphins, meanwhile, their foul troubles. Kone now with 3. Chestnut now has 3. So that's something to also note.
Boy, did we jinx JJ, Nick. You'll have to apologize to him if the Dolphins win and you speak to him.
Yeah, but you put me on the spot by saying I have to say it. Well, then a guy brought it up, so yeah.
Well, I did affirm that I don't believe in the jinx, so.
The Dolphins will first like to get the win before they can even discuss that opportunity. 1:37 to go. Chestnut has the ball. Back to a 5-point game as Parker knocked down his 2 free throws. Chestnut taking his time, gives it up to Goldstein. Goldstein gets the screen. Goldstein looking for somewhere to go. He'll take the shot, and he'll knock it through.
Great patience there by Aaron Goldstein. Gets into the middle of the lane. He had Baca on an island. Has to be careful with the foul trouble. Goldstein floats it in over.
That shot missed by Parker. Kone comes down with the rebound. The Dolphins now have it with 1 minute to go. Chestnut avoids the foul. And an issue with the clock, and I see it now, Joe. On the right-hand side, the clock did go out for a second. Just went back up now. There's 56.5 to go on the game clock, 23 on the shot clock.
Somebody calm that wind down.
I told you it was, you always speak about the tenacious Dolphins team, but that wind's been tenacious today. The tenacity's been unbelievable.
If only we had a meteorologist in the building.
I think I might know one.
You might?
45 seconds to go, 10 to go on the shot clock, but the Dolphins turn it over. Parker goes up quickly. They need a big basket right here. 3-point shot off the mark. Rebounded by Benedict. Chestnut will bring it up. He does have Kone if he wants. Gives it up to Kone. He loses it, and the Dolphins turn it over again. A very wild sequence.
Rather speechless after that, Nick.
Very wild sequence right there.
If the Dolphins just hold the ball, the game isn't over, but they have to foul you. You're in the double bonus, already leading by 3 possessions. That is the only way you can open the door.
About a 1 second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Goodman with the ball, takes the screen. They're wasting a lot of time, though, on the possession. Baca now has it. They got to put up a shot, and they turn it over.
Well, the way the Dolphins defended down the stretch, it was going to be tough for the Ravens to complete the comeback, and you take a look at where CSI was at halftime, Nick. They led by 7. They're in the same exact position now with 16 seconds remaining.
I believe if everything holds up to no for the Dolphins, I believe we'll be joined by JJ Chestnut for our TLC Physical Therapy Player of the Game afterwards. Big night for him. Dolphins look to be on their way to their 5th straight victory and an 8-0 mark here at the Tank. Ravens don't look like they will foul, but the 2 get a turnover forced. They'll get one more shot. Parker for 3, and he knocks it down with 1 second to go. Timeout, Franklin Pierce.
Well, 4-point game, final second, not enough time, but you have to applaud the effort of the Ravens in this game. They had a couple of bigs battling foul trouble. One did foul out in Ferreras, and they trailed by 7 at the half. That's where they found themselves in the closing seconds, but they shot the ball well, over 50%. They held the Dolphins under their season shooting average. They forced 12 turnovers. But once again, Nick, it was the 3-point shooting of CSI that propelled them in this game. Percentage-wise, far from their best effort from downtown, but they still hit 10 threes to Franklin Pierce's 6. And down the stretch, CSI had the big buckets, particularly that floater from Goldstein, and they had the big stops at the defensive end as well.
They better stop the music quickly. That will do it. The music was playing just before that inbound pass happened, Joe. But that will do it. The Dolphins hang on for an 80-76 final win over the Ravens. They now get their 5th straight win. They now go to 10-4 in the season, and more importantly for them, Joe, they are now 8-0 here at the Tank.
I can't recall this team ever starting 8-0 at the Tank in my tenure, but we'd have to dig a bit deeper into the record books to see just what their best start of the season has been in terms of consecutive wins at home. Either way, a 10-4 start, something this team certainly should be very proud of considering the non-conference competition that they've faced, along with some tough conference games as well. Pushed to the limit at UDC. Of course, the game at Stack didn't go their way, but still just a 3-point defeat. And, of course, coming up early next year, that big game at number 2 Damon on Sunday, January 13th. Their return to conference play precedes that on Friday, January 9th at Deauville. Their next game, however, will be the last of the non-conference stretch against Post University on January 6th. I'll be back in the building for that one. And because you and I jinxed him out of 1,000 points tonight, J.J. Chestnut might have an opportunity to score his 1,000th career point with me back on play-by-play on January 6th.
And, Joe, I didn't mean to laugh during your analysis at the end, but you had to have heard Anthony holding the eye of CSI at the end. That might have been the longest he's held the eye at all of our games covering this season.
Well, I think with every win at home, he has to one-up the previous game. So we already know he has the vocal power of just about anyone you could put on that microphone. So he's not going to be outdone by anyone except himself. Game to game, he holds that eye for even longer and manages to wow the crew. I see them counting it at the end of the table every game.
I almost counted it myself.
Yeah, you know, you have to respect the vocal ability. That's not quite my forte. It's more verbal skills rather than vocal power. But, you know, hats off to Anthony for a job well done announcing the CSI win. I'm assuming he did well with all of our made baskets tonight. Didn't hear anything I didn't expect to coming out of the speakers in the Tank, so that's always good. And it looks like J.J. Chestnut will be making his way over shortly.
We'll be joined by J.J. in just a moment while I fix all of our graphics.
J.J. is looking for his interviewer right now.
Different style of interview this time around with the headset. Just fix this camera real quick.
Where's Pat? Get him down here.
I did tell him earlier, maybe I need you, but I don't think we do. We'll be good.
You got it, Nick. You got it.
All right. All right, we're joined on the court by our TLC Physical Therapy Player of the Game, J.J. Chestnut. And J.J., another win for you guys here at the Tank. 8-0 now on the season in terms of playing here at CSI.
Yeah.
Tell me, what has it been like playing here at the Tank with all the fanatics here and getting these first 8 wins of the season here at home?
Playing at home is, one, I want to say is really a blessing. Like, we've had a lot of home games this year, so all of our great fans, friends, and family can come out and see us. It really helps us go out every night and play hard. It gives us more reason why to go play hard, seeing all of our friends and family here. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing. We work hard for this.
And JJ, now tell me about the outlook for this team going into the new year 2026. Of course, your team now 10-4 in the season. One more non-conference game for you guys before you go back into the conference play. What is your team's outlook for the remainder of this year?
We think we've been going pretty hard, and the motto right now is go even harder than that. So we're definitely not letting up. We're not settling. We're not content with what we've won so far. We're really just looking at the bigger picture of everything, and that's to win a championship, make a playoff run, and get to the NCAA tournament.
Wise words from you, JJ. Thank you so much for your time. Have a happy new year, and
thank you.
Good luck to your team for the rest of the way.
Thank you. Have a good night.
And thank you to JJ Chestnut, our TLC Physical Therapy Player of the Game. Joe, I'll bring you back on for final words here. Dolphins get another win, 80-76 the final. A 10-4 mark for this team now on the season. 5 straight wins, and now 8-0 here at home.
You have to be impressed with what you've seen from this Dolphins team so far this year, especially at home. We've hammered that point home, no pun intended, many times already this year. But we talked about it during the pregame. Statistically, they've been exceptional. You watch the way that this team has played game in and game out. The effort has always been there regardless of the situation, the opponent. We've seen them on multiple back-to-backs already this year. That has not fazed this group, and I think you have to really like the makeup of this team in terms of personnel as well. So many versatile players, a very deep team. They did not have Joey Poulin in this game as well, managed to secure the win even without him in the lineup. A regular starter was not on the bench tonight. So you look at everything that this team has done throughout the season, everything that this team is capable of moving forward, and I think if you're a fan of CSI Dolphins basketball, you have to be really excited about what this 2025-2026 season will bring. I think we're going to learn a lot about this team as they're forced to travel to Buffalo in their return to conference play. I fully intend to be in Buffalo for both of those games with audio-only coverage. I'm not sure I can make it out for the Friday game. I will certainly make it out there if I can for the game on Sunday the 11th. I'm very much looking forward to that game at Damon, but it's another weekend trip for me. And for you and I, Nick, we have one more game with me on the remote call. That is coming up the same day as the NHL Winter Classic.
Yeah.
I join you on Sportsnet, and then I head over to Lone Depot Park in Miami.
How far is that drive for you from Miami?
I believe it's about 2 hours.
Okay.
So it's a straight line from Naples to Miami, and I think we have a 1 o'clock game. You figure we wrap up about 2 hours after scheduled tip-off. So I'm on the road at around 3 o'clock for a 7 o'clock start. Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. And as you mentioned, Joe, our next broadcast on January the 2nd, the first broadcast of the 2026 season, is women's basketball. They take on Assumption University. And, Joe, we talked about the women's team as well. They're coming off one of the most thrilling contests we've seen the last time they were here at the Tank with that buzzer beater win over AIC. They then followed it up with a win over Pace University. They'll have their first game after the New Year break when they take on Assumption, trying to get their 4th straight victory. As for the men's team, as I mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, the next time they will be in action will be on January 6th, next Tuesday. They will be taking on Post University. That will be a doubleheader for us here on CSI Sportsnet, as the men and women will both take on Post. But, Joe, I know for you and I speak on for behalf of all of us here at CSI, the College of Staten Island, we want to wish everyone a very happy and healthy new year, and we'll see all of you in 2026. Once again, the final score, the Dolphins get the victory in this game by the final of 80-76.